Yeah. Oh, it's going?
All right. This is the Water Boys and Water Girls organization. My uncle Chino, he's the one who orchestrated this whole organization. It's really a mentoring program from the young youth that has something to do for the summer, so they don't have to be in the neighborhood getting influenced by the wrong people. They try to give them some way to making money without having to go the route of selling drugs and weed, getting themselves shot, locked up. Try to keep them away from that.
And in that moment, I wondered, how can I use my talents to help my city?
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. In tonight's top story, a new study shows that Little Rock is now the most dangerous mid-sized city in America, based on data from the FBI. According to the Little Rock Police Department, 55 people have already been murdered this year, up from 42 last year. The city hosts a remarkably high violent crime rate. We sat down with several residents to give their input on the crime rate here in the city.
Welcome to Little Rock, a truly southern city whose legacy still resonates with us to this day. You may know us for Father Stan or for Daisy's Fight, or you may know us for the colors that we bang. But our real history is as deep and divided as the pavement of Wilbur's Wall. Ride with me, down the freeway that destroyed our very own Black Wall Street. The same freeway that made an easier path for jobs, education, and opportunity to fly for whiter harbors, leaving little hope for the displaced communities in its wake. Backroom deals from times past created the inequities we see surrounding us today. It created the world I grew up in, right across the wall from Waywinder Field. Live from a city with two faces and a concrete conscience, these are the stories from the other side.
At McClellan as a whole, 85% free and reduced lunch, below the poverty line. Most of those parents working 1 or 2 jobs, can't necessarily make ends meet. When they get off work, did you get your homework done? It's probably what they ask their kid. The kid replies, yes, I got my homework done. Parent probably goes to bed. That same situation in another home. Parents have worked their 9-to-5 job, their whatever the hours are. They've worked, they get home, they are not so tired from working 2 jobs, 12, 14, 16 hours. They sit down, read to their kids. Not only that, they sit down at the table, maybe help them with their homework. If the student isn't being successful, they take that kid and they put them in a learning academy like Sylvan or private tutors or whatever. And a lot of the homes of students who live below the poverty line, the ultimate goal is not to starve.
My internship was at the Pulaski County Juvenile Detention Center. Part of my role there was I was getting a lot of history on the kids that came in, and so I was doing a lot of like assessment and getting a lot of background information and learning about their families and kind of how they grew up.
Talk about the distinction or the population in there. What would you say? What was Black, Hispanic, white, other? What did you see?
Primarily young Black males, young Black females.
Little Rock School District would be considered, I guess, a hood school district. If you get into a fight there, you're getting arrested, and that starts a track. You know what I mean? Once you get arrested once, that it's most likely for a Black man to get arrested again. That pipeline from school to prison, all because you got into a fight, you go to jail, and that messes with your mentality.
Going to Little Rock Hall was, it was a great experience, but even then I knew, that there were problems because we would have like gang wars, like drug wars in the parking lot. I didn't really understand the things that white supremacy had done until I, got into college and really started to observe like how white supremacy had played into that, whole fostering of that sense of like using drugs as a way to like get up economically to be in a certain position. Now, as an educator in museums, I see it even more in how students are educated, right? So they'll come in and never have had exposure to some of these basic ideas about like grammar and sentence structure or, history. It's kind of challenging to go back now and like go down the street that I used to live on, 12th Street, over there in Madison Heights. That's a rough spot because, it hurts to think like, this could be so much better.
I remember getting into a fight at school when I was 16. And the first thing I remember after hitting the guy I fought was my head, like literally going to the ground after I bruised my knuckle. Like, and it was just bleeding. Like, it was security guards. They took us in. If I remember correctly, they took me through the back way to avoid all the traffic. And I was in handcuffs too. And at the time, I didn't, I thought that was normal. I thought, well, if you get in a fight, you're gonna get suspended or they're going to treat you like you're going to go to jail. But then you get to realizing, like, coming back, it's like, this isn't normal necessarily. Just because a kid gets into a fight, you got to put him in handcuffs or he has to go to jail. He has to have a felony on his record when he turns 15 or 16. Like, it doesn't make sense. He's a kid. He made a mistake.
I just wanna smile, make my mama proud, see my peeps advance, give my son a chance. I just wanna smile, make my papa proud, see my peeps advance, give my girl a chance. I just wanna smile, make my mama proud, see my peeps advance, give my son a chance. I just wanna smile, make my papa proud, see my peeps advance, give my girl a chance.
Leave it to the people who run this city, and they have you thinking the Little Rock Nine single-handedly ended segregation in Arkansas's capital. But some of us know better. You see, I-630 is more than an interstate. It's a dividing line. On one side, you have healthcare facilities, gyms, bike lanes and trails, healthy food options, shopping centers, and banks. But on my side, it's block after block of liquor stores, churches, fried chicken joints, and check cashing spots. On their side, resources are always available for those who are in need of help, financially and mentally. But as for my side, it's 2 police departments within 5 miles of each other. And between that, the drugs we use to self-medicate. So you tell me, where's our help?
I have depression, anxiety, and I have bipolar disorder. If you don't handle your emotions while they're there, they're going to manifest themselves later in a worse way than if you handled them at that moment. The thing about like the Black community is no one wants to actually handle their emotions in that moment. And it's because it's generally what our culture tells us to do is because we're scared of the vulnerability thing and we're scared of portraying ourselves as something other than perfect. Having friends that don't necessarily have my mental illness, but support me makes me feel sane, because it lets me know that there's people outside of my community who can get it. If the only people in my bubble understand what I'm going through, it doesn't work all the way, because what if I leave my bubble? Then what? I'm going to be so uncomfortable.
I think that for African Americans, historically, there is a kind of hesitation in dealing with healthcare because of this, the racial biases to it, right? You think of things like the Tuskegee syphilis study, and you think of all these different structural, these different institutional things, right, in healthcare that have kind of fostered this sense of Black inferiority. And then to go in and to hear, these reiterations of your inferiority by people who do not have to live your experience reiterates this, theme of you not getting the help you need, right? Because they don't know your experience. So I think in order for Black people to really utilize the mental health profession, the churches have to connect to Black mental health specialists and get them to be able to find common ground with the communities that they, are trying to reach.
When you think about, mental illness, and we can't really pinpoint how and why mental illness develops. There's so many factors that go into it. So for some, it comes from, just trauma, right? And so then that's where we have things like PTSD, which is not just for people who went to war. Or, we talk about environmental factors, and then there's genetics that take place. So I think pinpointing there's so many different reasons and so many different ways that it happens, but I definitely believe that there can be a correlation between suffering and just human suffering, right? And then developing it turning into depression or trauma. It's only so much, I think, consistent, suffering that we can take.
Dark clouds in my halo. My mental ain't stable. Every thought and opinion that weighs on my brain turn out to be fatal. When I get enough, they will not leave me alone. But when I go broke, they won't leave me alone. Sometimes I feel like I do this on my own. All I see is red, all I see is red. Mirror reflection, suggesting that I'm dead. All I see is red inside, I'm feeling blue. People don't understand what your folks put you through. Your uncle touched you, he said it's all love. Keep it between y'all, the guy who's above. You in the back seat, mama asking what is wrong. You look down, remain quiet, you don't know if it's wrong. And you heard the same story with your older cousin Sydney. And the grown folks say keep it with the family. So you remain with this pain causing you to go insane. You hoping for a better picture, but you can't focus on the frame. And this is all your mother has to say. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't be all out about your family problems. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't be all out about your family problems. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't be all out about your family problems. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't talk about it, girl, just pray about it. Don't be all out about your family problems.
It's got to be more, way more than this. It's got to be more, way more than this. It's got to be more, way more than this. It's got to be more, way more than this.
Switching 4 days with the top down, screaming out, money ain't a thing. I can't see me in the bay with her. I send her back home so you can lay with her. Okay, let's talk about this ice that I'm carrying. All these pebbles like I'm a fucking vegetarian.
For parents to understand that, whenever they see their child like embracing a specific thing, whether it be math or science or especially the arts, I think they should harness that, right? Like my mom saw that I was really good with business, right? So she sent me to business camp every summer. It's important for parents to foster that child's gift, because to see it as like something that doesn't make money or just kind of pushing it to the side and be like, just do it as a hobby, I think will kind of stunt that child's development and being able to use that in different areas.
As a black man, I know that I was only supposed to either hoop, entertain, or become a dope dealer and go to jail. Like, those were my only few options. And I thank God, my mom and dad had different plans, From 1st to 10th grade, basketball was important until I got kicked off the team for having too many Fs on my report card. My mom pulled me. She said, "You're not going back, until you get your grades up, And I think that was very important, because now I'm able to understand that, you don't have to play basketball to be successful. People need to know that, hey, what they have set for you is not what you set for yourself. You can be the girl who painting, and you can end up making $1 million for it. All you need is a dream. All you need is support. And the moment we all realize that money is not always the answer, life will be so much better."
Okay, everyone, get in your places. This is the last shot. Let's go.
I don't care what you say. I'm not going to do it.
And I don't care what you say. You are going to do it. You've got a job to do. Get over there. All right. Places, ready, and action.
There's got to be more. Way more than this. There's got to be more. Way more than this. There's got to be more. Way more than this. There's got to be more. Way more than this.
The youth, the troops, government, sinners, killers, scholars. They say less is more, but I pray there's more than this. The youth, the troops, government, sinners, killers, scholars. They say less is more, but I pray there's more than this. The youth, the troops, government, sinners, killers, scholars. They say less is more, but I pray it's more than this. The youth, the troops, government, sinners, killers, scholars. They say less is more, but I pray it's more than this.
There's got to be more.
There's got to be,
Way more than this.
There's got to be,
There's got to be more.
There's got to be,
Way more than this.
There's got to be,
There's got to be more.
There's got to be,
Way more than this.
There's got to be,
There's got to be more.
There's got to be,
Way more than this.
There's got to be.
Lord knows my cry. Lord knows my cry.
There are two sides to change. We need more representation in governmental and legislative capacities. But foremost, we need to prioritize our homes, our families, and our communities. The change we want to see begins within ourselves. This Town the Hood Scholar signing out.